Hi guys. Well, I wanted to make this video because this weekend I was involved in the organization of the survival exercise of the first edition of the Best Sniper competition. And well, I did prepare a trio of fire, and which means there were 3 exercises the snipers had to do that had in some way to do with survival. And yeah, I've decided that I will make you a description of all these tasks and the exercise and do this in front of you. So I will not give a lot of explanation. Each exercise had a maximum of 5 minutes per exercise to obtain a flame, and the flame had to light these torches. And the first exercise was basically you had a box containing a broken beer bottle with cap, a piece of aluminum, and a fire steel and 2 pieces of wood. And actually the participants were allowed to use their own knife to make feather stick with this, and then they had to start the fire using the fire steel and absolutely not the knife they are used to use. They had to use something from the box. Now I will show you this first. Then the second exercise was basically you had the setup is in a Vietnam prison. You are a US war veteran. You escape with a kitchen knife and the purse of a lady that has come to visit the guards of the prison, and inside they had a flashlight, Swiss Army flashlight actually, with a 4.5 volts battery. This was to ease up a bit the process, but I will probably make the demonstration with this flashlight with AA batteries, so that it's a bit harder. Some lipstick, tampons, and biscuits in aluminum. So this was the content. And the last one is basically a friction fire set. They were allowed, of course, to modify if needed, but it was pretty ready to be used that way. The only requirement was to make a new hole for each participant. So some of the sets here are already well used, and I will do this. And they had a nest with some jute twine available to start the fire, to ease up the process because everything was pretty wet and the time allowed was really short. So I'm gonna do this, perhaps make you a short description before I start. First, for this box, feather stick, this means you have to take your time. They were binomes, so 2 guys, so one could prepare some part of the stuff for each steps. I will have a bit less time because I'm alone to do it all. Feather stick, well, there's only one way to do it, and this was a test in practice. For the fire steel, any glassy, stony mineral pieces can be used, flint, ceramic, and not only steel. So this was to test if they thought about that. I've seen some very interesting way to use this bottle, but basically use as a scraper a piece of glass, and of course it's not risk-free, but they were advised to bring and use a pair of gloves and glasses for protection. Now the knife I'm gonna use for the whole step as my custom-made Punisher Swiss Army Ranger wood by Victorinox. So this is the blade I've decided to use for this, and I have tested all these techniques using an even smaller knife, which is the Swiss Champ from Victorinox. So I knew it could be done. Now for the middle step, the secret here, you will see it. I will try to show it in the stress, but to use the aluminum paper to make a short circuit and make like a fuse, so 1 millimeter thin piece in the middle that will glow red hot. Use a tampon to get started and very well fluffed up to catch the red hot fuse, and perhaps use some lipstick on the tampon to increase its burning time. And well, for this one, with a good organization and 2 people working, one could sharpen and set the spindle while the other could prepare the hole, and they could either work together or one at a time. And well, I will do this all alone, so I'm gonna do my best. I will cut it in 3 parts. I will set the timer 5 minutes for the first one, then stop it and restart it for the second one with the remaining time, because it was allowed to be used that way. And then I will have all the remaining time on this very kit, but I will start a chrono so that I have an idea of how much time it takes to start the torch with the fire, friction fire. So let's get started. I'm just gonna make a check on my 2 cameras, set them up and get ready to work. Start. Okay, so first one done. I'm gonna shut it right away. So that it doesn't burn much more than this, and I still have 2 minutes 52 left for the next one. So restart, and I will put it back to 5 minutes when I start, when I finish this time. have one fuse here. Hope it's thin enough, we'll see that in a few seconds. I'm gonna smear just a little bit for the show, but I would have put way more just to be sure. Now because of the stress, I'm shaking a bit, which doesn't help the process. And the torch is lit. So as you can see from the very first time, there is still 11 seconds. I'm gonna blow this torch. And get ready for the last one, which is basically the most time consuming of all. So I'm going to take a little more time just to set myself a bit more comfy here. I will take the biscuits later on. Keep this one for next fire. So now what I'm gonna say is that because I have still some time, 11 seconds, so it's close to the first timer, and I'm doing this in one shot just to make it clearer. I did not do anything in the meantime. I'm gonna just reset this one to 5 minutes, so I will lose 11 seconds, which is not a horrible thing. And as soon as I start it, I will get to work and stop talking that much. So let's see how we can do this. And start. Putting a piece of green here to reduce friction as much as possible. New hole, and let's drill. So because you are allowed to use your main knife, I'm gonna do this with the saw, because a lot of people there had a Swiss Army knife and could have used this, which also shows if you have proper gear, it eases up the process. This happens. Okay. Sorry, and the torch is lit at the time of the timer, and I still have 5 minutes to make the last one, so we're gonna shut this down either. So okay, sorry, this video is a bit shaky because I move a lot, do a lot of stuff at once, but I hope you have seen the process and what needed to be done, and so you know that actually if you did use these techniques and proper knowledge, proper use of things and proper order, you could do all 3 steps in 10 minutes. Now the last thing on the bore and drill, you don't put the thin grass on the inside of the hole, the notch. You have to really make those steps, pre-burn the hole, mark the hole, pre-burn the hole, make the notch ideally to hold more powder, make a small incurvation, indentation on the underside, like you can see. I did it very in a hurry, but this allows you to improve your chances to get a fire burning. A square spindle grabs very well on most ropes, so I like this technique more than rounded spindle. As long as the spindle is straight enough, you can make a fire. Now, if in about 15 minutes you cannot get a fire burning, change your set. Use the same wood from the same tree, dead standing tree, something like that, very dry wood, for the hearth board and the spindle, to know that you have the same essence. If it doesn't work, if the hole glazes, or if you just have too coarse of a powder, change your set after 15 minutes. You have to try long enough to have a chance to excuse me, start it. But if you have to do it too long, you will lose calories, and calories are very important in a survival situation. Now, as I've said to all the participants, I hope that this exercise did make you hungry to know more, to train more, to discover new techniques, and did not feed you up, because it's very interesting techniques to know, to train. It's fun, and unless you are in a fire prohibition, it's very, very nice to do. So guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed that video. If you want to support my activity, you can back me on Patreon. I don't make a lot of videos this day, but I try to do my best to find time and afford to make videos. So your support is very well appreciated. You can find all the interesting links, Facebook, website, e-store, and stuff like that in the caption down below. And well, thanks a lot for your support. See you soon for new adventures. Bye bye.